People are always asking me, Alex, how do you make money in cryptocurrency? If you've been in this space for any period of time, I'm sure you know how to lose your money, right? There's a lot of opportunity to lose your money in cryptocurrency. But seriously, how do you make wealth off of Bitcoin? How do you turn a small amount of money into something that actually changes your life, okay? How do you get rich off of cryptocurrency? This is gonna be the most important video I have ever made because I'm going to be talking about the Bitcoin halving, okay? And how you can get rich off of Bitcoin. Keep watching. What's going on, everybody? Alex back with another cryptocurrency video, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most important topics in cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin halving. Okay, how do you make money off of it? Towards the end of this video, I'm going to show you guys the exact strategy that I will use to get ridiculously rich off Bitcoin. But before we get started, guys, this is not financial advice. I am crazy. Just kidding. I'm not that crazy, but I'm just a guy on the internet that talks about cryptocurrency and all of his opinions. What you choose to do with your money is your decision, not mine. This is not financial advice. Okay, guys? But again, watch towards the end of this video. I'll give you the exact strategy. Okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing. I don't know what you're doing. Hopefully you're doing some research, right? That's what this channel is for, guys. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, my name is Alex. I talk about everything internet entrepreneurial, primarily cryptocurrency, but I also talk about marketing and self-help. If you want to become a successful human being on the internet, this is the channel for you. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button as well as the push notification bell so you can get videos like this first. So you can be first. Okay, guys? Now let's jump right into it. Now, if you don't know what the Bitcoin halving is, I'm going to explain it really quickly. And I'm going to explain the difference between monetary policy now and how money works now with the world banks and, all these huge industries versus how Bitcoin works. Okay, let's just go to the top here. It's a very important article, and I'm going to leave this in the description here for you guys so you can see it. So how Bitcoin works now is we have a whole bunch of supercomputer facilities. It doesn't even have to be a supercomputer because of the block size, right? It's pretty small right now. But how it works is these computers are mining, okay? They're using hash power to produce or mint Bitcoin. That's how it works, right? And how it works is right now, the amount of Bitcoin every 10 minutes is basically making about 12.5 Bitcoin, okay? So 12.5 Bitcoin are being rewarded to everybody in the world that's mining and kind of gets split up, or it gets rewarded to one mining pool, it gets split up between that mining pool, right? And it's been working like that for the start of Bitcoin. It started off, every 10 minutes, 50 Bitcoin being pumped out, then it dropped to 25 Bitcoin, and that's what that's what it means, right? That's the halving, okay? So every 4 years or so, that reward that we get every 10 minutes gets cut in half. Okay, and this is very important to understand because this basically means that it's deflationary. And I'm going to explain these terms. I know a lot of people, it's a little bit complicated, but I'm going to try to break it down as simple as possible. That's what we're going to get with this video, okay? People want to go throw all these technical indicators, but nobody understands it. The whole point of my channel is to try to simply put this in terms that everybody can understand, right? So that you can actually make a move, right? So you actually do something and join cryptocurrency. But that's how it works. Bitcoin, basically how, how the government makes money. They print money. They just literally have machines and they print money. Bitcoin works in the same way that people have to work for it. They use computer power, right? To help maintain a network, to verify transactions, and whatever one, like it's random, right? So whatever pool of computers won, the 12.5 Bitcoin goes to them and gets split amongst them. So how much like hashing power they give out, they get the same amount of Bitcoin, right? So it's I can get deep into it, but that's the overall gist. So what's happening in May 2020 is it's getting split again. So it's deflationary, right? It's going to 6.5 Bitcoin, 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And what does this mean? That means that the supply is getting cut down, right? And it's increasing scarcity. If scarcity enhances value, let me explain really quickly. So right now what happens is a little bit different, right? This is just one form of what the government does to stimulate the economy, right? To basically make everything feel good short term for the economy. They do something called quantitative easing, okay? It's in which a central bank purchases government securities and other securities on the market in order to increase the money supply and encourage lending and investment. So they literally, that's the simple way to put it, is they print money. They buy the stocks on the stock market. They buy securities. They basically buy up as much as possible to basically do like an artificial jump. The market artificially increases, people follow, right? And it stimulates the economy for the short term. But we've seen in recessions time and time again, that doesn't always last. As a short-term fix, like patching something. It doesn't work in the long run, right? So that's basically the overall gist of what's happening right now. And we can see it, right? You know, we see it in Venezuela, hyperinflation. They're printing too much of their money. And what happens is when you print too much of your money, there's too much supply and it makes the money worthless, right? It's not worth it anymore. It doesn't have any value to it because you're overprinting it. And we see in Venezuela that people are buying Bitcoin for that reason, right? That is the value of Bitcoin. While governments and central banks lose value, Bitcoin increases in value. When they're printing too much money and the money's losing value, Bitcoin is a good safe haven for people to save the value of their money, okay? It's very important to understand. Also commodities, right? Also like Bitcoin, gold and silver. But the thing about gold and silver is it's not deflationary. It's increasing about 3% a year, right? So, you know, people are over there mining, right? Mining gold, mining silver. If they ever run into a big reservoir of gold, that 3% could jump to 10% or 20%, or we could just find a ridiculous amount of gold and, you know, gold is kind of valueless anymore. So the way that works is through natural causes. You know, if we find more gold, you know, gold can lose its value, right? There's a lot of talk about planets with like full gold and stuff like that we can, you know, mine and just make a ridiculous amount. So that is basically natural. That's like random. That's random, right? The thing about Bitcoin is that it's deflationary. It's built in. So it's the opposite of inflation. So while printing more money makes it valueless, deflation makes the coin more valuable. Okay, guys, you understand how that works? You decrease the supply and it makes it more valuable. That's how this works, right? That's how the Bitcoin halving, and this is why it's so significant. And in this article right here, it breaks down specifically, you know, historically, Bitcoin halving has been proven to be an important catalyst that propels Bitcoins into the new bull market. Bitcoin runs in cycles, about 4-year cycles, and people consider this the most important reason, right? And I'm gonna go over it really quickly. Let's just go over some of the charts, right? So as you can see here, this is the first halving, okay? This is, I believe, when Bitcoin went from the reward going from 50 Bitcoin to 25 Bitcoin. So this line right here represents the halving. So as you can see here, it bottomed at $2. Before the halving, it had a small rally, right? It's not really that small, but a pretty good rally. And then it jumped right after the halving, okay? So I'm gonna go over like the important stuff. This article is very in depth. I'm just gonna try to keep it as simple as possible for you guys. So from the bottom to the top, the all-time high, it was about a 13,000% gain, okay? That's pretty crazy, right? So that means if you had a $2, that turned into 270. Okay, it took approximately 513 days for Bitcoin to rally over 13,000% from the bottom. Okay, and now this line is the Bitcoin halving. So all of it changes. I'm not saying, you know, the Bitcoin halving is going to happen and then, you know, Bitcoin's going to jump up immediately the next day. That's not how it works. Okay, this is why we're looking at these charts. Okay, so right here is the second Bitcoin halving. Okay, so Bitcoin was worth $164. Okay, from here to here, it was a 12,000%. You see how similar that is? A 12,000% gain, okay, in about 1,064 days. So that's another thing to take in consideration. This was only 511. This is about double the amount of days. Okay, the reason I believe the reason why is because more people are getting into Bitcoin. As more people get into commodities or Bitcoin, right, it makes it hard for the price to swing as much. You know, from $2 to 270 is a lot easier from, you know, 1,000 to 20,000, correct? Because there's just more people, okay? So as you can see here, it happened in July 2016. It took 1,068 days for Bitcoin to rally over 12,000% from 164, and it went to about 20,000. You guys all remember that, right? Okay, so after that, there was a 51-week bear market, and we already hit the bottom of that bear market, which was in December 2018. Okay, and I'm gonna explain that. It was like at $3,100, right? I have my story on Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram. And guys, by the way, if you haven't jumped in my private group. I'll leave the link below. Jump in my private group. We talk about this stuff all day. No spamming. If you spam, I'm just going to kick you out. Okay, jump in the private group. But I was talking about Bitcoin on my Instagram. I was saying buy, buy, buy at $4,000. Telling everybody buy, buy. I bought a little bit. I didn't have that much money to put into it at that time, but I bought some. And so as we can see, Bitcoin has rallied between 12,000 to 13,000%. Okay, so this is the crucial difference that we talked about before. It took twice as long to experience that similar growth around the second halving. Okay, twice as long. So that's important to understand. Right now, we have recently reached the bottom of the bear market, which was 3,152. If we go below that, then that will be the new bottom, but it's unlikely. Okay, so we've reached the bottom. Okay, so that's important to understand because the Bitcoin halving is coming in about 100 days. Let's see right now, actually. Let's see the exact number. This all changes because of, it all depends on like the mining, right? Halving, countdown. It all depends on the mining and when things happen and how many transactions occur. So 185 days till the Bitcoin halving. Okay, then that number can change, right? So, okay, so as of writing this, the Bitcoin taking over 260 days to rally to 340%. So it bottomed from 3,000, you know, back in December 2018. So what they basically did is they broke it up into two parts. So they wanted to do analysis on from here to pre-halving, so that's considered pre-halving, and then post-halving, they wanted to see the differences, what happened. And basically, I'm just gonna keep it short and simple here for you guys. The pre-halving, on the first halving of Bitcoin, right? The first one was a lot more. There's a lot more pre-halving, but a lot less post-halving. But the second one, it was a lot less pre-halving and a lot more post-halving. Okay, so what they're basically trying to say is that, you know, if there's a less of a jump pre-halving, there's going to be a bigger jump post-halving, most likely. Okay, that's what they're trying to say. That's a key indicator, so we can kind of see where Bitcoin potentially go this halving, right? So what they're saying is that we're most likely representing how the second halving occurred right now, right? So this is the part where it's really important to understand, because this is your entry, right? If you have Bitcoin now, I'm not telling you to sell your Bitcoin now. The way I do it is basically dollar cost averaging over time. So I buy a little bit. As it decreases, I buy more, I buy more. But what I am saying is to wait for this retracement. This is the most important part here, okay? This is the most important part of this whole entire article, in my opinion, right? So as you can see here, Bitcoin bottomed the first halving, okay? Then we saw a 663% gain. Then we had basically a shakeout period, a retracement, about 50% the first time. But after that point, after that shakeout period there is when we saw the jump, the huge jump. And this is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for this shakeout period. Okay, so towards the end of this video, I'm going to tell you when the shakeout period is going to occur, or likely to occur. Honestly, I don't even care when it occurs. I'm just going to wait for it. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that 30 to 50% decrease. So look at the second one, right? So we hit the bottom, which we've already done in current time right now, which is at $3,100, right? We have a 383% gain. Shakeout period. So this shakeout period happened 100 days, 105 days before the halving. So this is the halving. Shakeout period was 100 days before the halving. This shakeout period happened during the halving. So this was literally 28 days before the halving, and actually still was decreasing after the halving. Remember I told you guys, you know, it's not going to happen like you know, history doesn't always repeat itself, but it looks similar. That's the whole point. I'm not looking for a specific time. I'm looking for the shakeout. So at this point, it wasn't 50% down. It was 38%, right? But as you can see, this jump here was a lot less. It was a lot more here than this jump right here. So this was the post-halving was a bigger gain, 4,000% gain versus right here, 3,400% gain. So what does that mean? So leading up to the first Bitcoin halving, it rallied 663%. So pre-halving, it only gained 663%, right? So the first halving, the post-halving growth was 5 times larger than the pre-halving growth, okay? And the second halving, it was 10.5 times larger, okay? So clearly the most exponential growth in Bitcoin's price as a result of halving has occurred after the halving. So that's when things get serious. After the halving is when people actually start making money, right? So if Bitcoin rallies less pre-halving, then it'll make more money post-halving. So what I'm basically trying to look here Look, pre-halving prior to the first one occurred 100 days before the halving. It was 50% deep, only lasted 2 days. This one was 24, the second halving was 24 days before the halving, was only 38% deep and lasted 44 days, okay? And it continued 20 days after the halving. So what are we looking for? This is, to summarize, right? It's saying right here, the pre-halving number 2 retrace occurred 24 days and was 38% decent last 44 days. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the shakeout period. And what they're basically trying to say in this article is that it's most likely going to replicate the second halving. Okay, so what's going to happen is, right, let's jump to this chart right here. So what I'm looking for specifically, and this is where my strategy plays, right? What I'm looking for is that shakeout period. Okay, I don't care when it happens. They say that it's going to happen during the halving, just like the second halving, right? During this halving, which happens in what, 181 days or 185 days. But I think I'm just going to wait for it. So what we're waiting for is a 30 to 50% retracement, probably even less, maybe less. You never know. We're looking for a massive dump. We're looking for when everybody's scared and they start selling their Bitcoin, right? So if we, right now, we're what? We're at 9,000 or something like that. Let's look at coin. I don't even look at the daily value of Bitcoin anymore because I really don't care. We're at 8,700, okay? So chances are Bitcoin's going to keep rallying up, okay? It's going to keep rallying up. I'm just looking at this chart here, but this is not what I'm following. I'm not following this line. Bitcoin's going to jump up to around 15,000, okay? It's now historically pre-halving, that pre-halving jump never increases more than Bitcoin's all-time high. So Bitcoin all-time high was at 20K. So what I'm looking for is for this to jump up to around 15 to 20K. If it reaches more than 20K, then it is not following history, but it never breaks that all-time high of before, okay? So I'm looking for a $15,000 Bitcoin, $13,000 Bitcoin, something like that. Once I see that, then it should drop. It will drop and have a retracement, okay? And that's the period where I buy Bitcoin, a lot of Bitcoin. And this is what I mean by getting rich. People are worried about the short term. They're worried about trading on a daily, making 1%, 2%, 3% gains, right? And people bragging about 10% gains and stuff like that. That's not what I'm worried about. Why? Let me show you. So in this article right here, it basically says, look, let me just find it. It basically says, look, if we do something similar to the second halving, right? If it wants to show it, if we make a percentage gains similar to the second halving, okay, this would mean that Bitcoin's market cap will pass gold. Okay, that's one thing to take consideration. And it would also mean a $385,000 Bitcoin. Okay, now that is like shooting for the stars. That's not happening anytime soon. That's going to be 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years. But what if I told you in 3 to 5 years, you can change your family's generation of wealth by just taking a risk, right? And that's how I think about it, right? It's either I'm right or I'm wrong. And if I'm right, I'm very right, right? If I'm wrong, you know, I lose a little bit of money, right? Compared to what I could possibly make. Now that's gambling. I'm not telling you guys to go gamble your money. And like I said, this is not financial advice, but there is a lot of proof. Remember, this is a deflationary coin. As they take away Bitcoins from the market, or they take away the supply of Bitcoins, the reward, right? The value tends to increase. We've seen it for the past 10 years. We see it in everything. Look at Jordans, for example. When they have limited stock of Jordans, what happens, right? When it's a nice pair of Jordans, they have limited stock. You know, how much do those Jordans cost? It costs way more. And the thing about Bitcoin is that there's nothing like it on earth. It cannot be hacked. And the only way to turn off Bitcoin is to turn off the internet. And we all know that's not going anywhere because you want to be able to buy groceries from your store, right? So what I'm looking at here is what's happening when it comes to technology. And we all know blockchain technology is the next, you know, it's the next infrastructure of the internet, guys. And this is Bitcoin. This is the most valuable cryptocurrency in cryptocurrency, okay? This is basically the market, in my opinion, right? So remember what I told you before, if Bitcoin rallies less pre-halving, so that's something we need to watch out for. So we look at the percentage of rally pre-halving. If it rallies less, that means it's going to even take off even more post-halving, right? And that's what I'm looking for. That's simple as that, man. I'm not trying to make too many moves. I'm looking for that shakeout period. I'm looking for the time where Bitcoin drops more than 20 to 30%. Okay, and everybody starts getting scared. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna put all my money in it. Well, not all of it, but I'm putting a good percentage of my portfolio in now. I'm gonna be overexposed to cryptocurrency. This is the risk I take with my life, right? Think about it. My whole channel is cryptocurrency. I'm taking this risk. I believe in the technology because I understand it. Guys, I didn't just invest all my money into cryptocurrency, okay? As I got better understanding of blockchain technology and how the technology works is when I started investing more money. So if you ask me, how do you do that, man? How do you put that much money? How are you not getting scared? It's because I know what I'm talking about. Guys, do your due diligence. Go on the Bitcoin white paper. Go read the Bitcoin white paper 10, 20 times, right? Read it. This is long-term jumps, guys. We're not talking about no short-term BS here. We're talking about big market swings, and that's what I like. These 4-year terms, that is how you get rich off of cryptocurrency. You don't get rich off of cryptocurrency making money in 2 weeks playing with dApps, decentralized applications. That's not how you get rich off of cryptocurrency. You get rich off of these 13,000% gains. You buy one Bitcoin and that thing turns into $380,000. That, my friends, is how you make money and cryptocurrency. But that concludes it for this video. If you like the quality of this content, do me a favor, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism, subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, and I never meant it more in my life, if you don't get with this technology, you will get left behind. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Catch you guys in the next one.